Welcome to the Industrial Talk Podcast with Scott Mackenzie. Scott is a passionate industry professional dedicated to transferring cutting-edge, industry-focused innovations and trends while highlighting the men and women who keep the world moving. So put on your hard hat, grab your work boots, and let's go.
All right, welcome to Industrial Talk. Thank you very much for joining once again the number one industrial-related podcast in the universe that celebrates industry professionals all around the world. You're bold, brave, you dare greatly, you innovate, you collaborate, you're solving problems each and every day. It is an industrial renaissance that we are experiencing, and you are leading the way. That's why we celebrate you on Industrial Talk. All right, in the hot seat. We don't do enough of this, but we need to do more of it. There are podcasters, industrial podcasters that exist today that their voices, you need to listen to their voice. No exception on this day. His name is Greg Christensen. The podcast is CMMS Radio. He's passionate, big heart, incredible professional, mad skills, has a passion to really he is an advocate for reliability, systems, everything associated with managing your business. That's Greg Christensen. Let's get cracking. I'm going to make the intro real short so we can get into it because it's a fairly lengthy conversation. But it's engaging. It's incredible. It's fun. So the brainchild, something that popped in my head, and I said, doggone it, I'm having a hard time sometimes. I'm having a hard time finding industrial podcasts. They're out there. They're out there. Don't get me wrong. They're out there. I think we can do a better job at bringing it sort of together. That's one. But two, there are sort of common threads throughout this media platform of individuals that I always come in contact with. And so I'm going to have these conversations. Greg being one of them. We were at an event. We had the conversation. We're going to be at another event. We're going to have another conversation. And we just decided that, hey, it's important to be able to say, well, why are you doing this? To give us that sort of that, vulnerable insights into why you're doing podcasts, you're doing videos. Why are you having conversations with professionals? It's pretty interesting. And there's some similarities from where I came from versus where he came from and others. It's just, I think it gets right down to this. One, these individuals that will be highlighted on Industrial Talk, these podcasts, these platforms, they all stem from the individuals having a passion to solve challenges. That's one. Two, they have a big heart. They truly believe that you, industry professionals, need a bigger platform to tell your solutions of why it's important for industry. That's it. But it drives, they've got a big heart, and they're passionate, and they're willing to be vulnerable and put themselves out there. It's a great conversation. So with that said, let's get on with that conversation. Greg Christensen. The podcast is CMMS Radio, and you need to subscribe. He's a real guy, just honest, and it's a lot of fun. Great conversation. Enjoy. All right, Greg, this is take two. We had technical difficulties in take one, of course, as you can imagine. So this is take two, and we were just beginning. We're going to be talking about CMMS Radio, because we have to talk about that. We're going to be talking about that podcast. We're going to be talking about what he sees out in the marketplace. He is a leader, absolutely, bar none. But we're going to go back to what we wanted to hear about, and that is his background. The little 411 on who Greg is, and hopefully technology will cooperate, and we don't have to relive that. All right. Hey, Greg, how you doing?
I'm good, man. How about you?
Deja vu.
Yeah, all over again.
All over again. Background, give it to us.
Yeah, so back in the 90s, I was in the building maintenance industry, and prior to that, growing up, did some skilled trades type stuff, manufacturing environments, little janitorial, all that kind of stuff. Heck, I even worked in the Pillsbury building where they did all the testing on the food. So in the 90s.
Well, that's pretty cool. See, that's cool.
Yeah.
Come on, that's pretty cool. Because you're right in the thick of it and you're saying, hey, check this out.
Yeah.
Cool.
I got a cool story about that too. We'll tell it later.
Yeah, please.
So in the 90s, a buddy of mine starts this building maintenance company, and I'm helping him out, and we're out there doing all the work, and nothing fancy about it. We're just doing what we say we're going to do. That's how we differentiate in the market. So as we build that company later on, we needed some software that was going to manage the process the way we did account management, the way we really came through for the clients. You got work orders and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And hey, let's put assets in there, connect everybody to it. Fast forward a little bit, and a lot of the clients that were using that said, hey, let's get out there. Let's see if we can use this with all of our other clients. So we go, well, we got to start a software company. So we go do that. After about 15 years, we sold it. So imagine over 15 years, how many clients of different sectors, people that are focused on asset management, building management, all that different stuff, working with all those people. I decided to start CMMS Radio in 2021, just on a whim. Hey, I'm going to give this a try, do a little monologue. And now I'm 3.5 years into it, and I get this awesome experience of leveraging all the things I learned from so many industry pros that came before me, doing facilities management, maintenance management, maintenance and reliability, all this kind of stuff. You've seen some of the people that, we know them in common, that we just get this benefit of learning from them and showcasing for people who's the real deal out there.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Because there are so many systems out there, and you said, hey, I need to start a podcast that highlights these systems and the discipline behind managing assets and maintaining these assets. And, you've seen a lot. Is it safe to say that CMMS Radio is beyond or encompasses, professionals? It doesn't have to really be about the system. It could be just about the profession of asset management too, as well, right?
Absolutely. You nailed it, because I want people to understand that CMMS Radio, although it's about computerized maintenance management software, I want to focus on the two M's in the middle. That's maintenance management. That's people. That's process.
Yeah.
And the technology then comes into play, because if you make it purely about the technology, you've missed the whole point, because it's about the foundation of these practitioners, these people that make it all happen.
And not only that, you just run out of things to talk about. Then after a while, it's not fun, and it's and after a while, it's great to talk about the technology. You love that, but it's always about the people, always, especially in the world of reliability and asset management and maintenance and the people and data collection, all that stuff. It just keeps on going and going and going. How that thought process is saying to yourself back in when did you say to 2022 or when or 2020?
Well, I would say my indoctrination into the world of CMMS was in 2002, and that lasted up until right now.
No. The radio, the podcast. You
2021.
2021.
December.
So here's in 2021. Take us through that thought process, because I know my thought process. I know where I was at. Where were you at? All of a sudden said, yeah, I can do this.
Well, all right. So
yeah, you can do whatever you want. I don't care. It's a podcast.
Yeah. I've got this moment where I'm thinking about, well, people do these podcasts, and I used to always hear everybody my whole life, oh, you should be doing this kind of like talking and radio and voice and all that. And I'm like, man, I always wanted to do this when I was at the CMMS company I was part owner of, where I would have just this constant forum of learning and subject matter that would help people. So one night I'm just thinking about it, and I'm like, wait a minute. If I do CMMS Radio, it's not connected to any particular CMMS. I could talk about any system I want, but I could talk to all the people, the pros, the facilities managers, the technicians, the this, the that, and I could have them all on. but I don't know if I want to do that. I'm going to start with monologues. So I just wanted to share what I had seen and understood about this technology and the people in the process. So I rolled a monologue on like December 26, 2021 and put it on Anchor. And once I hit the 8th one, people started reaching out to me. I'm like, oh man, now I got to do video. I got to have guests. And I was like kind of freaked out about it. Didn't even know how it was going to go. I must confess, there were some people doing this before me.
Yeah.
That really inspired me. So I always want to give a little shout out to you being the OG because I saw it. Yeah.
This is about you. It's not about me. Move on.
I got it. So it was just this idea that this is possible. Let's give it a try. And I thought in the back of my mind, it doesn't matter if it works or not. Let's just do it.
See, this is so brilliant. This is what is the spirit of what you're talking about. It's the spirit of just saying, okay, I'll do it. And you have no idea how many times I say, yeah, I could do that. And then I get off and I'm going, oh man, what the heck was I talking about? Now I got to figure it out. I don't know what to do. I don't even know what to talk about. What, but you do it. You persevere. And that's what's it's so brilliant about just individuals like you and others who just persevere, believe in their heart that they're adding to the conversation and really trying to help, people where they're at. It's interesting. I don't know. Cool.
Well, you and I have talked about it when we're not on the mic and we bumped into each other where, if you keep it real, if you have a real conversation and you don't try to worry about what people are going to think, they'll get something out of it. And if they don't, that's okay. But you tried to kind of put it out there. I am so damn lucky. The people I get to talk to, learn from, and showcase, not to sell stuff. I don't care about selling anything. I care about adding value. And I've learned this from so many people, like Brian Bieski, add value. George Williams, add value. Joe Anderson, Joe, add value. All of them add value. And for me, it's about the real stories. And I still, to this day, I don't think I will ever forget the moment somebody walked up to me, sought me out, walked up to me at a conference and said, hey, I love your stuff. And I was like, whoa. and I said, hey, can I ask you why? What does it do for you? What does it matter?
Right.
And he basically said, can I swear on here?
Whatever you want. I don't know.
He said,
podcast again.
Yeah. So he's become a dear friend of mine. His name's Matt Knuth, and you'll always get the truth from Matt Knuth. He's a real reliability professional, like real deal pro. And he says, you're not a freaking talking head. You're not a fucking talking head, he said.
Yeah.
And I said, well, what does that really mean? He says, you're talking real. You're having real conversations, real people. You're talking about real stuff. You're not trying to sell anything. You're not trying to satisfy, every single person. You're just keeping it real and grounded. And I said, man, thank you. I wanted that. I just didn't know if that was happening because I'm not up. It's not up to me. It's up to everybody else.
You just are this voice in the wilderness. When I responded, I said, you're just a voice in the wilderness, and you just don't know if anything is resonating, but you just go out there. I remember when I went down this road of saying, hey, I can do this. I'm going to do a podcast, and it was for my business, whatever. It was fine. So I'm going to do a podcast, and I remember vividly of doing all the research, doing all this, like, hey, I got to get this mic, and it was so new to me, right? And I remember I bought a mixer, and then it came. I was excited, like, oh, I researched it. It came on in, and it had buttons and knobs and sliders and all this stuff. I thought I was going to throw up. After all that, I decided, okay, now I got it all worked out, and I said, I got to do one. I got to do one. To this day, it's a butt pucker. That's for doggone sure. Because you don't know. You just don't know. Just do it.
Yeah.
And then you do it again. And then you think, God, that stunk. I'm going to do it again.
Yeah.
By the way, Matt and I are friends on LinkedIn.
Oh, yeah. He's awesome. I mean, awesome. And I'm so lucky. Like if you notice any of the things I put out, I'm a little bit careful about, like, when I say somebody's a real deal pro, I want to be focused on the people that I know exactly how they work and what they do for people. It's very, very important to me that there's high integrity, a focus on outcome and results. And I admit openly that it's a righteous thing, meaning for a lot of people, they'd say, well, how are you going to make money if you're trying to always deliver on the results? Because in the real world, sometimes you just sell. And I'm like, I get it. But, what about the customer? What if you didn't have customers?
Yeah.
What would you do? So when did a lot of that's the thing, like I tell everybody, someday I'm going scorched earth on the industry, because I want the right people getting the right service and the right outcomes for them so that everybody wins. And I and CMMS Radio should always be known for the constant pursuit of the elusive win-win. It's all that matters.
Yeah. See, here's the challenge I have, and I got a couple of questions. But the challenge I have is that when I've been in the world of reliability for many years, and I go way back, and where I was deploying a system called Indus Passport. I don't even know if it's just, it was awful, quite frankly. It was just difficult to manage, but nobody knew any different. It was just, that's what we had, right? So I'm deploying it. The challenge that I always come across at these events is that management changes every 2 years, every 1 year, every year and a half, 18 months, whatever. There's always this churn of management. Mm-hmm. And reliability, asset management, and that pursuit of really doing that, it depends on a leader. And if that leader decides to go and then somebody else pops in, you know what they see? They see the fact that you're spending money on maintenance. That's a financial, that's not good. And they don't see the results of where they were before, where they are today. And they let's sweat the asset. Let's just let it happens all the time.
All the time. They're parachuting in. They're a dear friend of mine. Shout out to Sean. He said, it's pretty simple, Greg. They parachute in. They take down all the boxes, they unpack them, they rearrange them, and they're looking like they're doing stuff. And then, when we look at these things that are highly effective within an organization, you've got a maintenance team with the right culture and the foundational elements, and they've got this system and they've been using it 2-3 years. And somebody says, oh, I don't like that one. Or we pay how much for that? Oh yeah, we're cutting that. Boom. Don't we already have this system? Why don't we just use that over there? And we're over here going, have you lost your mind? You haven't taken even 2 seconds to look at what it is, what it does, who's leaning on it. They're using it right. Why on earth would you change that? It's just like when people buy companies and they start stripping out all the great elements of that company. And they're like, I wonder what's going on. Why are the customers leaving us? Because you suck. You changed it.
How do you address the realities, the financial realities of when you, let's say I'm all into managing my assets. I'm doing the right things. Shout out to Reliability X. So I deploy a lot of their philosophy and discipline. So I do that, and I have low hanging fruit. So on my maintenance, I increase my maintenance dollars, but then I receive and I see some great reliability results. But eventually that tapers off, right? You achieve whatever that. Hopefully you achieve or you continue to pursue, but it becomes more incremental as opposed to that low-hanging fruit. Mm-hmm. That's where I find that sustaining this effort becomes more difficult, of a more difficult story. It's like we're already there. We're so efficient. We're so incredible. They don't look at the fact that, do you see all the work that's been done? Mm-hmm. See where we were at? Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't have an answer to that. Because I know I would probably go, what the heck?
I think everyone is well aware of this, and this is some kind of a flaw in how we move through the world. If you look globally, and I don't consider myself to be the true global expert, I like to bring the experts, but culturally in different parts of the world, they don't do that. So that might be part of the problem.
Yeah, you're spot on.
The thing that I don't understand is why you remember these things we heard growing up, and we hear it all the time. It's like you can't get out of your own way. That's the problem in all these organizations. So if you go back to something, when I was 16, I read a book called The Goal by Eli Goldratt. Very popular book, regardless of the theories or any of that kind of stuff. It was taking a simple approach to doing what's right. And if you look at maintenance and reliability, and I'm not a maintenance and reliability professional, it's about not complicating things and doing the work that makes an impact. But people take it for granted. That's what happens. I don't know why people don't just, we need a warning sign when you walk into the building. Hey, all these things that are working, don't take them for granted, because just like, when you like get into a health regimen and you're doing all this stuff and you're in great shape and you're feeling better, and then you take a week or two off and you just stop doing it, it all falls apart. It does like that.
Especially as we grow older, it falls apart really fast.
And they don't see it. It's ridiculous. In fact, every single conversation I have has some element of how somebody in leadership, somebody here, somebody there, just forgot or didn't know well enough what they were about to change. And when you get to when you talk about continuous process improvement, continual process improvement, you preserve, much like you would in reliability, what's in place. You maintain it, and then you build upon it. Your changes are going to be incremental, like you said.
Yeah.
Not even like 1%. And people are like, why would anybody work towards 1%? And I said, well, why don't you fly over to Japan and ask them?
Yes. See, you tied the culture together. You're absolutely spot on. And we don't have, we look financially at quarterly results, right? It's quarterly. Many companies, international, they look much broader and long term, but
long game.
Yeah, we don't. That's genetics. That's just right into us. Okay, I'm going to switch gears.
Yeah.
So the stumbling block that I always get on, and I don't have I pretty much gloss over it just because, well, I'm sure there's an explanation, but I'll just gloss over it. CMMS, right? Got that system. You've got asset performance management. And it sort of looks to me there's some similarities. Now we get some people to try to rebrand it, and it's asset lifecycle management. Now I'm managing the life cycle of the assets. And I again, I'll gloss over and I'll flatline because and like you, probably more so than I, will get pinged saying, hey, we've got a system. And I can't tell the difference. I'm sure there is, but I'm not invested. So tell us what we're talking about here. I don't know.
So if we want to make it easy and we want to quickly answer this question, lean on your 80-20 rule, because you're going to see 80% similarity across the board. This is not an argument. This is just an observation. They're going to have their work order, asset and equipment, parts and inventory, right? You got all that.
And they can pull data off of that asset. And they have that ability to be able to analyze and predict some sort of condition.
Sure. Now, it's in that 20% nuance that differentiates each system from one another, but they're not all that different. And people shouldn't look at that as a dig. Like if you have a CMMS, an EAM, an APM, or whatever you want to call your system, it's AI powered, it's asset intelligence or whatever. All great. Awesome, right? I've heard of Excel. I've heard of, spreadsheets, all that. You're going next level with that, but where does the meaning come from? The differentiation. So what you're going to start looking at is how it matches exact workflows of an organization that's already successful that needs to digitize. Digitization, right? Which is
absolutely
boring as hell.
Yeah.
It's CMMS or anything like it is a couple of things. Number one, it's your historian. It's your accounting system for maintenance activities or related asset management activities, etc. When you get into APM or some of these other areas that are more specialized, or if you're looking at an EAM that's going to be really powerful on the financial and OpEx side, this is where you're going to see your nuances, because it starts to stitch together other departments. The predictive analytics and those things, all of that falls apart if the data is no good. And where do you get your data primarily? One place only. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's all about the frontline maintenance technicians, frontline operators, people putting in the right information in the right way so that you get the contextual, meaningful information that you can now leverage. If you're doing condition monitoring, which we could completely spin out on that because it's half hogwash anyway, that has to be meaningful. Oh yeah. I agree. One thing we oh man, I go bonkers about.
I'm glad you're on that side of the mic, because I think about these things, and I'll just say, no, that's fine. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, that's spectacular.
It's laughable because we understand companies are out there. They want to sell their solutions. They want to solve people's problems, but they must sell their solutions to make their money. Fine, all good. But the shiny stuff, the magic silver bullets, the unicorn farts, they are not a thing, but marketing and all this clever stuff would have you believe such a thing. What people really need to do is get super real about what they do, who they are, why they need it, why they sell it, why they provide it, and you have to deliver on the outcome. Anything less, you're just building a brand so you can sell it and make a bunch of money and go off to the Bahamas or wherever the hell you want to go, which is fine, but be open about that.
Is there a, without saying a name, is there a system out there that sort of takes in all of these components and parts and pulls it together in a comprehensive platform? Or does that just become just like a gorilla, just massive, hairy, unwielding?
Yeah. So
it's like, I can't do it. And then I find myself out in the field, I pencil whip, and then everything just falls apart.
You already nailed it, because if you're looking for a single source out there for all of these things, it's pretty unlikely. And if you do find it, it is going to be a big, giant, hairy gorilla. If you go back to, let's say, the 90s and, tornado marketing, crossing the chasm, all these things. I forget the author's name. Sorry about that. But this was a time just before what we called the dot bomb that happened in 2000. Yeah. And the 800-pound gorilla was the big, massive company that had incredible market share, that could actually control, move, and manipulate markets by acquiring them, creating them. And then that creates opportunity for the up-and-comer. So in CMMS, EAM, and all these different systems, this is why we have 4, 5, 6. I've seen estimates of upwards of 1,000 different solutions out there, which is bonkers, crazy, impossible to navigate. You and I spent some time together somewhat recently, where we're looking at one of these gorillas that's trying to do it right. And I think they all are, but it becomes really hard. Some solutions out there are a combination of 8 different things, 12 different things, 300,
It's like an Amish house. They start with this core, and then they just sort of build on, and then it just becomes this Frankenstein. Is like, we can provide this, and it's just, I think it's unsustainable, and just like everybody complains about it. It's like, we've got this system, and it's so hard, and I gotta go here. Whatever, they have the complaints, and rightly so. Some of it's legit, and it just always fascinates me, because I'm one that would probably lean toward a more lean version, something that I know that I can achieve from beginning to end and get this stuff done and get it to where, hey, I got it, man. I've got tactical information and it makes sense.
Yeah, that's influenced by various departments. So the bigger the project, the bigger the organization, the higher number of sites, the complexity and nature of the assets that are being managed. If we're focusing purely on assets and not facilities, usually it's both.
Yeah,
this is where it can become very complicated. And for the systems and solutions that you're using, the way they're tied together, what if we're moving really well for 6, 8, 12, 18 months, and then there's an update on this thing? Something changed about it, and there's something that they can't fix. That can happen unbeknownst to them. They didn't know that 3 years from now, this piece of code that we build using this is no longer going to be an option. Now you got real problems, and you have to still keep going. So on one hand, we understand that there's an evolution of things change, things go away. We should accept that. But who suffers? It's the client. Well, your company's trying to deliver, they're suffering too because they can't figure it out. So it's not about a blame thing. It's about getting together and figuring out how to solve it. I'm with you on give me something straightforward and simple that allows my people to buy in and go.
Yeah, because a confused mind doesn't make a decision. And it just, and again, I get approached all the time, just systems. And I don't know how anybody makes a decision. I don't.
It's too much information. Nobody knows who to go to. It's why I tell people,
trust it.
Phone a friend. Talk to somebody who you really know that has done what you do, that has had the experience, and say, hey, what have you done in the past that worked? And that person might say, well, tell me a little bit more about what you're trying to do. This is not someone selling you. They're just trying to understand you. You have to work with companies that understand you. You could have the worst software on the planet and make it work if there's people that understand you that can guide you. I do believe that, unless it actually doesn't work. Yeah,
it gets down to people. It's, I have a form, and the form always says, hey, what do you want to talk about? What are the problems? And then give me give me a use case or whatever. It's a form. But the last one is always, what are the roadblocks from that happen to prevent this from happening, right? And it's always 100% of the time, it's people. You need people. You need engaged individuals. You need passionate individuals, and individuals that have that right mindset to saying, I want to make this work and do it. And it's just always, or they could be the opposite and say, no, I'm going to be calcitrant here, and I'm not going to, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to be, speed bump in this parking lot.
Yeah, it's all over the place, and that's the real challenge. The technology is not going to save anybody.
No,
it kind of potentially fosters like a laziness, a languidity where people, they think it's a set it and forget it thing. How many times have you, me, and everyone else that we know heard this story where, oh, we're putting all this information in the system, and then they go back a year later and there's things that are a year old, and there's hundreds and hundreds of these things because somebody forgot that when you buy, implement, deploy, and adopt software, you have to manage that too. And people tune out. How often have we heard, well, I don't really care to use the system because every time I do, I'll get a call from my boss asking me a question that is in the system. Boss is not looking at it. Why should I bother? Maintenance people want to get stuff done. They love what they do. They really do.
Do you think, and this is sort of off topic, there is, I call it maintenance crack. So I'm a maintenance guy, and I like when something fails, I like getting that call, and I like hearing it like, hey, we got this motor down and we need to get somebody out there ASAP. I'm on it, man. And then, I'm riding in on that white horse and fix it. Who's the hero? That maintenance crack to where what you're talking about is where everything's is planned. Everything's controlled. Everything is managed.
Right. So in maintenance and reliability, facilities management, all this stuff, boring is a win.
Yeah, see? It's like
boring is a win. The White Knight, Captain Unreliability, shout out to Reliability X and the team over there. He's got to be the hero. He's got to look good.
Yeah.
He wants those problems because without it, he's relevant. At the end of the day, in all of these environments, property management, facility management, manufacturing, oil and gas, blah, 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 all of it, you want things running smoothly. And if things aren't breaking and you're doing well, you're kind of feeling a little bit boring, like you're not doing anything. But that's what winning feels like in those environments.
Yeah, it messes with your brain.
It does because you pointed it out really, really well. The way you've made, I love that term, maintenance crack. It's like, oh shit, something broke, dude. I can look like a hero. Yeah, exactly. I did it. Oh, and everybody's like, oh man, Scott, you saved the day, dude. We're back in business.
Yeah. It is. Yeah, it's so funny. Like I said, I've been in the business for many years. We have the same conversation. The same.
Every single time.
Same.
And the question then, like you're asking, is what's really different? Like you've even told me, I asked these different companies and representatives of companies to tell me about your product and what makes it special, and they can't even really talk about it. It's weird. It's really weird. I get lucky, I think, sometimes just in the way the conversations go to find a little bit of that. I'm looking for that secret sauce. Why are you different? Such as how were you born as an organization, as a company, as a piece of technology? I love those stories, the origin stories, because I think that's where the secret lies. But then as they evolve and get bigger and money comes in and all that, everything changes.
Yeah.
They forget who they are. And I think I mean that as a call out, but it's a call out to be better. It's not to crush anybody.
Yeah, but it's reality. You have to at least face it. I mean, it is. I want to know what the secret sauce is. What makes what? Well, we do this better. Do you? Do you really do it better? Tell me
how so. Yeah.
Just come on. Let's just get a little detailed. Tell me why.
You think you think sometimes, I know you're supposed to ask the questions, but do you think sometimes they're afraid to answer those questions directly because it's like an actual secret, like it's going to hurt them in the competitive landscape?
Maybe. Yeah, that's an interesting component. I did come across a company that was very, very protective. And you and I, we live in a world where it's like, oh no, man, it's open kimono time. Hey, free and easy. I don't, we don't hold anything back. But it maybe that's the case. Maybe because I don't understand the market and that landscape and how competitive it might be. But you got to admit, the World Wide Web being driven by AI has a lot of information that you could definitely find out. Nobody's that, it's out there. So
there's no real, there's nothing that there's not much that's new. And I think what I love is when I see a little more. I want all of it. I want the fearlessness where a company says, this is what we are, this is why we are, this is what we do, and this is how we do it.
Yeah.
Step up and get some help, and they can put everyone else on notice because they don't have to fight one another. There are so many manufacturing companies, facility management opportunities. Huge.
We get this minimal mindset, and when you start to just take a step back, it's like, oh, come on, this pie is huge.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, look at where we go to some of these conferences, or a lot of them, and we see all the same people, same players,
same faces. Yeah, we do.
Yeah, and I think there's someday, some way, I've always kind of secretly hoped that people can work together in a little bit better way instead of competing, focusing on the market together. But I think it doesn't make sense to maybe to finance or Wall Street or something. I don't know. What do you think of this idea, like a CMMS that also works with another CMMS, not because they integrate, but because they both know this is a better fit for you guys, and this is a better fit for you guys over there because this is the kind of client. I've always kind of wished that could be a possibility.
You're speaking gibberish. Wow. That's next level thinking. No way. Yeah, but
it would be nice.
It'd be nice if you have a true passion to help that company succeed in whatever their objectives are, whatever their tactics are, then you have an obligation, a moral obligation, I believe, a moral obligation to help them achieve it. And if that requires, oh wow, couldn't imagine some company saying, "Hey, I hear what you're saying. I think Acme over here, Acme CMMS is better suited for you. I know what they're doing. How about that one?"
Yeah. That's
what?
That would
Yeah.
It would be over, and I think it would really work well. And I'll put that out there. If some company can find a couple of companies that can do some stuff they can't do and work together, you can work that out in the background. That's not a big deal.
Yeah, we're all capable.
Yeah. It's I remember back when I was, I'd do the discovery, I'd do the account management, I'd do the demos, I'd help with the setup, I'd work with the integration team, all this kind of stuff, right? We didn't do too many actual integrations, I should say deployments. And when I was in that kind of discovery and then maybe demo phase, or maybe they were trying out the software, we'd find some roadblocks. And if we couldn't solve them, I felt like it was our responsibility to guide the client that we can't do that.
Yeah.
And that's really hard.
Unicorn. I'm telling you, you're a unicorn, because it's always, yeah, we can figure this out. Yeah, well,
it's easy for me to say now because I'm not carrying a quota.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
I don't have to sell anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What do you got coming up, man? I wanted to ask you about SMRP, man. We're going to see each other there. There's some good stuff happening over there.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. We missed last year. Last year was
the hurricane,
erupted by a hurricane, which was really, we were tootling on through. We were heading on that direction, right? We stopped in Tallahassee, and then we got the email saying, "Hey, we've canceled it." Like, oh, that's because I always look forward to. It's like a family. The events of, "Hi, how are you doing? Great to see you." Slap. Let's go have a cup of coffee. Yeah, it is.
This is going to be my first one.
It's a community.
I've never gone. It's I'm so excited.
Really? Oh, snap. Yeah, it's great. You know what you're going to come in contact with?
Well,
systems.
Oh yeah, a bunch of them. I'm doing a special production there, and SMRP allowed me to create a discount for attendees using CMMS 10 at checkout. Save 10%. Anybody that wants to go.
Oh, see.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
You're next level. I didn't. That's great. That's great news.
Yeah, you're gonna be over there podcasting. I already heard about that. We've got some mutual friends, and then I've got something going on. I got an announcement coming next month, late this month. I can't say much, but yeah, CMMS company
right around the corner, right? It's in October 1st.
So October 6th through 9th, Fort Worth.
Yeah.
First
time I'll be over in Fort Worth. Never really.
I've never been there too. They got on the last day in the morning. It's going to sell out, and I'm supposed to buy tickets, and I just haven't done it yet. AT&T Stadium. You're going to have a plant tour. It's like $150. You can go tour the physical plant at AT&T Stadium. How crazy is that?
That's cool.
I think so.
That's cool. See, that's we got to do a better job at just highlighting these cool things. They're cool. Like I was a boy, a kid. I remember watching. This was, I believe, I was in second grade, and I still remember it. That they were talking about how bread is manufactured and how it gets to the store, and then all of the little touch points on how it goes from here to here. And I remember it vividly. I was like, "That's pretty cool."
We need more of that right now.
Yeah, we do. Because there's got that going on out there.
Oh, hey, people say it's making a comeback. The trades, people's interest in all that.
Yeah, I'm. There's a technical college right around the corner from me, and I want to interview the executive director or the dean. Dean, that's what it is, not the executive. The dean, and just see what they're doing and how they're responding to the market.
Yeah. Ask them if.
Yeah. Here's the problem. I went through an apprenticeship program when I was a lineman at Southern California Edison. So I went from digging the ditch all the way up to climbing the towers and then journeyman and so on. That took 4 years? 4 years to do that. But I was, the company was telling me what to do. The company was giving me this opportunity, and I was being mentored by crotchety old linemen who, helped me be better, right? And I'm a big fan of the technical college, but are they nimble enough? Do we have the right focus? Do we have the right mentorship? Can we, achieve what we need to achieve in those in that educational model? I don't know.
Yeah, I think for me, I noticed when shop classes and all those things went away in high school, and then it was less and less available at the community colleges. That's coming back around. I like to promote and support All Within My Hands, which is they do the Metallica Scholars Program, where adults can reskill, learn welding, automation, all these different kinds of things. And they do it at a lot of community colleges throughout the United States. So when you go over there and talk to them, ask them about that too.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Hey, Greg, we're going to have to wrap this up, man.
Hey,
you're the longest interview I've had in a long time.
I talk too much, that's why.
Oh, shut up. It's
I love it.
Topic that cannot be just sort of put into a little box. It has multiple tentacles. I mean, it covers everything.
We love it. We do it every day.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. How do people get a hold of you? What's the best way?
LinkedIn is the best way. You can look me up or just go to CMMS Radio company page on LinkedIn. You can also find that on Spotify and YouTube. I put stuff on the company page all the time. And then you can find me, Greg Christensen on LinkedIn. That's the best way. I got CMMSradio.com too, but I like playing on LinkedIn, hanging out with my friends, seeing what people are up to, promoting them, telling you who the real pros are. That's where I play.
I like that. You're awesome. You're a nice guy.
Right back at you, brother.
All right, listeners, we're going to have all the contact information for Greg and CMMS Radio out on Industrial Talk. You're going to have that link. You're going to reach out to him. That is your to-do list. And maybe, just maybe, if you're a reliability professional, you might want to reach out to him and see if you can get on the show, because that would be a lot of cool thing. All right. You were great. Absolutely spectacular, my friend.
Thank you, Scott. It's a pleasure and an honor.
Yeah, back at you. All right, we're going to wrap it up on the other side. Stay tuned. We will be right back.
You're listening to the Industrial Talk Podcast Network.
Greg Christensen. CMMS Radio is the podcast that you need to subscribe to. If you're in the world of asset management, maintenance, reliability, and you have a platform that does that, and you want to hear about the latest and greatest taking place within that industry, that is a podcast for you. That is a must subscribe platform. And again, he comes from the perspective of mad skills and trust. It's Greg Christensen. Everything out on Industrial Talk. Connect with him in a big way. All right. Industrial Talk is building a platform that is dedicated to you industrial professionals. You have a voice. You have a need to amplify that voice. Get on Industrial Talk. All right, people, be brave. Derek Greatly. Subscribe to CMMS Radio and change the world. We're going to have another great conversation shortly, so stay tuned.